Hey Booktube, this is Kelly. Thank you so much for watching my channel, Books I'm Not Reading. And if you're celebrating, happy St. Patrick's Day. I have my little green shamrock earrings on. I don't know how well you can see those. But I was just sitting in my home library this morning and just thinking about all of you and how lucky I am. I feel so lucky. I feel like I'm having a really good year on Booktube for some reason. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I just feel really good about the way the year is getting the year is beginning. One of the things I would have never anticipated about 2024 is creating an original tag that I actually like, that somehow has caught flight, and which is the I'm so annoyed booktube or book tag. There's several variations on it out there on Booktube. I do have a playlist of all of the ones that I'm aware of that you can check out on my channel, in case A, you want to find some other annoyed booktubers, or B, you're looking for people to tag and you want to make sure somebody hasn't already done it. I think I've heard from at least 3 people who are going to be doing the video, so I'm just so excited. And I know many of you are new. Welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. So I'm going to give you a little bit of history of my experience with original tags. Some booktubers are so good at creating really, really wonderful original tags. And I just admire and respect that so much, because my experience has been semi-disastrous. The first tag that I ever created, which is probably the one that I love the most, and I have thought about like trying to reboot it, but no promises there. It's called the My Neck of the Woods book tag, and it was really just about like, and you could define whatever your neck of the woods was. It could be your entire country, it could be your state, your province, your county, whatever it was. And I kind of picked my state, but talking about authors who write about your part of the world or who lived in your part of the world, those kinds of things. But I did it really early on in the history of my channel. My channel's been around for, it's gonna be 6 years in June. And so, yeah, like it was very early on, and I just don't think it was the right time to do it. And certainly then COVID prevented me from starting it up again, because it just, yeah, like we were all inside for so long. So that was my first original tag, and I was really flattered. Like some other booktubers did that tag. I've tried to make a playlist of each tag that I've made. So again, you can see some of them. I made a booktube backlist tag that didn't go anywhere. I made one that was the my life in 10 books tag. I honestly thought the most successful tag I would ever create was the one I created with Jason and Nicole at Day of Small Things. My husband Jason, his channel is Old Blues Chapter and Verse, but we jointly created the Shakespeare Journey tag, which in some ways is maybe the most successful tag, because then it turned into the then Victober kind of revamped it and did their version of it, and then Nonfiction November there was another version of it. So So in some ways, maybe you could argue that the Shakespeare tag was the most creative one, but it certainly, I had very little to do with that. I probably contributed like a couple questions to that tag. It was mainly Jason and Nicole, but they were great questions and it was a lot of fun. And we did that, of course, for Shaktember, which is a month-long celebration of Shakespeare. So if you're looking for events to participate in the future, we'd love to have you. So we promise not to pick all tragedies this year. Anyway, yeah, so when I made the I'm So Annoyed tag, I read the questions to Jason because I wanted to make sure they made sense, which again, in hindsight, like I realized like some people have gone very different directions in terms of how they answered them, which is fine, totally fine. But yeah, I could have made some of them a little bit clearer. So that's good for me to store somewhere in the back of my mind. But I read the questions to Jason and he was like, oh, this is gonna do really well. And I was like, don't say anything. I was like, don't jinx it. You never know what's gonna happen. I have made videos that took off and in ways that I never ever predicted. Certainly my expectations were quite low for the I'm So annoyed tag, but I think it just really touches, again, I think I said this a little bit in my Friday Reads video, was, you know, how much we love books and how much we want them to look beautiful on our shelves. We don't want one that's 2 inches taller than the rest of them that's part of a series. We want the covers to be similar. We don't want Penguin changing where things are on the cover or the spine, God forbid. But also, like, many of you were very, like, very chill about things. The only problem with watching all of your tags, and I say this very lightly, but now I see all of those things that annoy you that I didn't think of when I was making the tag. So, I'm just going to use this one as an example. Now, this is H is for Hawk by Helen McDonald. How I acquired this book was that another booktuber was unhauling it. They hadn't read the book and they decided they weren't going to read it, and so they were unhauling it. And I have really wanted to read this book because I've heard so many of you talking about how great it is. And so when I saw her, I was just like, ugh. I'm like, hey, I will buy that book. I will pay for the shipping for that book, like whatever you need me to do. And of course they were very generous and just sent it to me, but they had not read it. So none of this is the fault of any booktuber. But again, I was just laughing so hard. So we had not just one, but 3 stickers that are not stickers. Then there used to be a sticker here. I can feel the adhesive, but it's gone. And let's see if I can find it quickly. Someone underlined things in the book. I would say of all the questions in the I'm So Annoyed tag, I think only one person has said that they actually have annotated in library books. Everyone else is just so horrified about it, and yeah, but it just cracked me up. I opened up this book this morning because, like I said, I'm going to be talking about it on my channel soon, and saw the lines in there. Again, I got this book for free, so I really don't have I really have no right to complain about anything. It was very, very generous of that person to send this book to me, and I'm grateful. And I'm gonna read the underlined stuff I'm gonna read this book, but yeah, so other things that some of you brought up, print on demand. Oh my God, I hate print on demand books. um, uh, yeah, and it just took me back right away to when I worked at Barnes and Noble, and I would order books for like this big book festival that we had, and then, you know, I wouldn't sell any of them. And then I would go to return them and I couldn't return them anymore. It was just, there was one book, it had a hot pink cover. I cannot remember the name of it to save my life, but I just remember like periodically just checking to see if it was possible, because we had like 20 copies of this book. And I remember looking to see, like, can we return it? No, over and over. And then there was like one day where it did say that I could return them, and I was like, we have to do this today. So we boxed up those books and sent them back to the publisher that day, because I was like, tomorrow it could be no again. So, yeah, print on demand. And then another thing that I had not thought of, and I don't even think I have any examples of it, because this really drives both Jason and I absolutely crazy, is that those like dust jackets that have like die cuts in them, like there's a shape cut in to reveal something that's on the actual hard surface of the book, but there's like a cutout. And man, those cutouts always get ripped, like they get damaged so easily. I don't know why. And one of you did bring that up, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is so annoying. Yes. And I went to my used bookstore yesterday. So we do have a new used bookstore in town, but they're stamping all of their books, so it's kind of annoying. Big used bookstore that I had all kinds of drama with last year, and if I think of it, I will link to those videos below if you haven't seen them. They're quite hysterical. I did learn a lot about used bookstores, and I do have a new appreciation for the fact that, like, yeah, you can't pay bills with people's credit. I really don't think our used bookstore should allow people to take so much in credit. I mean, people have thousands of dollars of credit, but you still have to pay for every single book you buy. I did ask for their policy in regards to credit, and I got a copy of it. It's much shorter than I thought it would be. For those of you who love Louis L'Amour and science fiction fantasy, as well as metaphysical books, you can trade that in, but that's the only thing you can use to buy those books with credit. So you have to bring in so many Louis L'Amour books in order to be able to use that credit on any other Louis L'Amour books. And the same with science fiction and fantasy. And metaphysical, which I thought was quite strange. There's also this weird policy about light romance, which is like harlequins, silhouettes. Your credit earned for light romance can only be used for light romance, and they must be within 2 years of the current date. I mean, and this doesn't really apply to me because I don't, I don't read those books, but I do know, like, people love getting, like, vintage harlequins, so I was kind of surprised that they have an entire harlequin room. It's pretty mind-boggling. But I don't, like I said, it's not the part of the store that I'm normally browsing in, so, yeah, and there's some other stuff on here that's just like, they said they won't accept water damaged books. I found I was so excited. I'm like, oh, I really wanted to buy this book. It's a Pulitzer winner that I would really like to, I'd really like to own, because I think I'd like to read it again. And yeah, the inside was all water damage. So, you know, but I did at least go in knowing that, hey, whatever it is, like, you're gonna have to pay something. You're gonna have to pay something for it, which I did. I was very gracious. I was very polite, and so yeah, I did pick up a few things. I'll share those with you in the future. Another thing that has been so wonderful is finding so many new booktubers. I just can't believe the channels that I've never even heard mentioned. And I guess it's because I do live in a pretty tight corner of BookTube, but it's really helped me to branch out and like try some new channels. I'm so excited to listen to the other versions of the tag that I haven't, and see if those are channels that I want to subscribe to. But you definitely should check out the playlist for sure, because yeah, I think someone recently, and I did not watch the video, so I really can't comment on it, but, you know, made a video about, like, is BookTube dying or whatever, which I just think is a silly question. Like, to me, it's more alive now than it ever has been before. So again, I feel really lucky. I feel really lucky. So thank you guys all for being part of my BookTube world. Thank you so much for just being part of my BookTube life. Means a lot to me. I would love to hear from you down below in the comment section if you have had any other annoying thoughts, or if you're celebrating St. Patrick's Day, what are you doing? All that kind of good stuff. So yeah, feel free to leave a comment down below, or you can leave an emoji, maybe like a little shamrock or a St. Patrick's Day emoji down below. You can also give this video a thumbs up as a way to say hello, which I would be so grateful for. So thank you guys so much, BookTube. Remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and I'll be back on Friday with a Friday Reads video. Bye.